Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Sports Scoop weekly predictions. We were not here for week 12, but we're back for week 13, which is crazy that there's only, this will be 6 more weeks of football left. As you guys know, we'll be predicting each game on the week 13 slate. I am joined, as always, by my two amazing co-hosts, Surge Kadali. Surge, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Jets with another win,
There
one of the most exciting seasons. So
we're gonna have some tension.
well.
We got a Jets and Dolphins fan, and the Dolphins fan, other co-host Dylan Shalom. Dylan, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. It's been a while since I've been on one of these, so I'm just happy to get back to it.
We are all happy to get back to it. As always, do make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media. We're going to get a ton of NFL draft content out to you guys. Make sure you guys go check out Surge's mock draft if you have not yet. But we're going to get – I know we say it a lot. We're going to get more content. It's coming out. We're going to get more videos coming out to you guys. So we do apologize for the lack of videos, but we are working on it. And without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. So Thursday night, we actually have a good game. And I wouldn't say necessarily, well, I'll tell you the game. It's Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, divisional matchup. And obviously the Patriots are not the team that they have been historically. But again, it is still set up to be a fantastic divisional game. And I think no matter what the circumstance is, no matter how good each of these teams are, this game will always be close. But Dylan, I'll go to you first. What is your prediction on this game?
So this seems like a trap game for Buffalo, just because Josh Allen really hasn't been the same since that elbow injury that he's gotten. He didn't look good against Detroit, didn't look good against the Jets, didn't look good against the Vikings at the end of that game. That being said, I think they're going to be able to go out and win this game because their defense has been able to step it up in these tough situations now. I know the loss to Minnesota didn't look good, but they came in and they did the job against Detroit late in the game and against Mac Jones, who hasn't looked that impressive this year, against an offense that's run by one of the stupidest coaches in football. I think they're going to be able to get it done. I don't think it's going to be a convincing win. I don't think it's going to be that lightning struck Thursday night matchup divisional flair that anyone wants. It's going to be boring. It's going to be choppy, but the Bills are going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bills too, although I'm not too confident considering how, like you said, Josh Allen, that offense, it's been too inconsistent. I think also the Bills defense just hasn't really stepped it up. They've ranked 20th in pass defense, so it's been very, very mid. But I think Josh Allen has had Bill Belichick and the Patriots number, and I know Mac Jones is kind of having a bit of a resurgence, but I don't really trust it enough. And I think they're going to get Trey White more involved. Close, especially in New England. I'm going to barely give it to the Bills, but close one.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a close one for me. I'm actually going to swing the other way. I think Patriots take this one. I think this is a trap game that the Patriots are going to go out and win. I think, yeah, like you said, the Mac Jones resurgence has been there. I wouldn't say it's been super strong, at least in my opinion, but, considering where he was and how regressed he looked to begin the season, it's definitely looking like the Mac Jones we have seen. But again, I think it's just this is a matchup that is the classic one. I think we were talking, Serge, actually funny enough, we were talking about on our first in-person podcast last year, which was a little bit later. It was closer to Christmas. And we were talking about, how the Bills got out-coached in that game against the Patriots. I'm not sure if you remember that. It was me and Charlie. But I think that might be the case again here. I think the Patriots take this one on Thursday night. And that's our pick for that game. But now we'll move into the 1 p.m. window where we have the team, the New York Jets, trounce the Chicago Bears, facing off against the thumb-issued Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. It looks like Aaron Rodgers.
That is not the matchup.
Yeah, it is. Chicago.
Yeah,
Bears,
it is.
Packers.
Bears, Packers.
Oh, I thought you said the Jets. Oh,
no. I was saying the Jets beat the Bears, but the Packers, obviously, news came out that Aaron Rodgers is going to need surgery on it's his thumb, right?
Yeah, but he'll be able to play.
He'll be fine, but obviously the surgery at the end of the season, so that's not too much of an impact. That being said, though, before I even go to you guys, you know what? I'll go to you because I feel like this generally would be an easy Packers pick, but the Packers obviously are not the team they were. So, Surge, I'll go to you first on this one. What is your prediction?
Yeah, I think it really depends on if Justin Fields plays, and based on the fact that the Bears are already out of playoff contention and might be tanking, I think there's a good chance it's Trevor Siemian again. And although he didn't look too bad. I don't think he's not a good quarterback, and he's going against another tough defense in Green Bay. Neither of these teams are good, but I just think the Packers have the QB advantage, although it's not even by that much considering Rodgers is playing so injured and isn't even that good really this year. But close one, but give me the Packers here.
All right. So who owns the Bears?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. The Packers are going to beat the Bears.
Yeah, I think it's
that's
pretty
simple. That's simple.
I'm gonna go Packers as well. That being said, though, Trevor Siemian and obviously Mike White both looked pretty good. I mean,
Siemian looked good first quarter, and then
I mean, he had that passer rating of over 140, and then it quickly went downhill for him. But I think it's the Packers in this one. As we move on now to the next game, where we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I believe are on bye week this week, playing
they play Monday night.
They play Monday night.
Excuse me, right? As they play the Atlanta Falcons, who moved to 5-7 after losing to the Washington Commanders, as the Bucs sit atop that division at a whopping 5-6. That just shows how the NFL can change so drastically each year. But Dylan, I'll go to you first in this one in a matchup that should be quite boring. What do you have?
Give me Atlanta. I actually think Atlanta are still my favorite to win the NFC South. I think they're the best team in that division.
That's sad.
Regardless of how they lost this week, and they ran into the kicker when they could have gotten the ball back, and it lost, or the punter, and they lost their opportunity to go on a game-winning drive. That being said, their run game has looked good all year, and I don't see that stopping against Pittsburgh, who have had not too strong of a run defense over the year. And although Atlanta's defense hasn't been good at stopping long drives, they have been good at turning the ball over. They've been able to get the ball back in a field position game, which is where Pittsburgh have struggled, and Kenny Pickett has not been able to hold on to the ball very well this season. So I'm going to go Atlanta. I think it all adds up for them.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I think, I think Atlanta, even if they still have a decent chance to win the NFC South, they're just not a good team. And I think the Steelers kind of, like I said, they don't have a good run defense, but they're having an offensive line that is steadily improving. They've got weapons that I think can outmatch a kind of like an injured Falcons secondary other than AJ Terrell. And I think this is just a matchup that I just think the Steelers are they're 3-7 right now. They're not good, but they've been playing better as of recent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's going to carry over to this game against a not great Falcons defense. So yeah, give me the Steelers here.
Yeah, this was a tough one. This one's kind of up in the air for me. I think obviously Steelers are not very good, and the Falcons have been. I mean, yeah, I would say surprising, but 5-7. If you would have told me that, I would have been like, all right, at the beginning of the season. But that being said, I mean, I think for the Falcons, and definitely as someone who believed Ritter should have been option off the get-go off week 1, I think Mariota's played, solid. So I'm going to go Falcons as well here. That being said, I'm not confident. I think, on the Steelers day, that defense has always been disruptive. Tomlin, obviously a very, very smart head coach, but I think for the Falcons, the key is how are Drake London, how are Kyle Pitts playing, because we've seen Kyle Pitts kind of been very quiet this year. We've seen him have
Kyle Pitts is now on IR though.
Yeah.
After this week?
Yeah, because torn.
Oh, right.
MCL.
Sorry, I saw. Oh my God. Yeah. So he's out for what? The MCL is what, 8? I mean, that's the end of the season.
He's going to be out for the year.
Yeah, right. Excuse me. I forgot about that. Because I wasn't sure. It was reported after he got. Because I remember I saw him getting off field. Yeah, right. There was a lot of injuries this week.
Never drafting him again.
Yeah, I've completely forgot. Yeah, right. So that's again another hit. That being said, though, I wouldn't say he's been that pivotal of a part to this offense. So I'm gonna still go Falcons in this one. But that I do think that definitely changes something, because he's always a guy that needs to be accounted for.
Yeah.
But I think it's still a Falcons win here. As we move on to the next game, we have Surge, your New York Jets, playing the 9-2 red hot. Well, I would get maybe not red hot Minnesota Vikings, obviously, because the week prior, their performance against the Cowboys, but obviously they went out and beat the Patriots on Thanksgiving. Dylan, I'll go to you first. We'll wait for Surge's take. Dylan, what is your outlook on this game? With Mike White, assuming he's a starter.
You're going to be assuming it's Mike White at the helm again, and I think the Jets are going to stand a better chance than one would think before this performance, and that's because the Vikings don't really beat out. I was talking to Serge about this on the phone. They don't really beat out opponents by that much. The Jets are going to be in this game for a pretty long time, and I just think that the Vikings have that it factor, going into the end of games that I don't think the Jets have quite yet. And it's nothing to like condemn the offense on. It's nothing to condemn. The defense is top 5 in the league, arguably top 3. And it's nothing to condemn the Jets on. I just think the Vikings have the experience in these tight games and the star power to let it go through. Sauce Gardner, as great as he's been this season, is going to have a handful with Justin Jefferson. That's just going to be how it is. DJ Reed going to have a handful with Jefferson and Thielen wherever they are on the field. Kevin O'Connell is going to scheme up an excellent game plan to try to beat a very good defense, and I have been proven wrong about him time and time again, so I'm going to go Vikings.
Yeah, this was a huge game for the Jets last week against the Bears because a lot of the issues that people thought about the Jets was that they have a great defense. Yeah, top 5, top 3, might even be the best in the league, but the offense is the issue. Today that we saw that with a competent play caller, yes, it's against the Bears defense, but with a competent quarterback, this offense can move the ball. It can move the ball very well, very efficiently. And I think against another defense that, isn't a great passing defense, I think that offense can do well again. But like you said, Dylan, every game with the Vikings, at least when they are, they're going to win a game, it's always close. And I think the Vikings will win this just because, like you said, Sauce, DJ, best duo, cornerback duo in the league, in my opinion, but they're going to have a handful with Justin Jefferson. If Sauce locks him down, then just give him DPOY on the spot there because he's like the best receiver in the league, in my opinion.
Second.
And first, second, whatever you think. But I think overall, this is going to be a very, very close game down to the wire, unless the Jets win, in which it's going to be a complete blowout. But I'm going to say Vikings. Close. Tough to say, but I think Minnesota will barely pull it out.
Yeah, I think this is the game for the Jets. I think if they win this game, postseason's a lock for them. I think if they don't, it's still
Very
a bit
close.
of a question mark. But I think, especially, Dylan talking about how the Vikings don't win by a lot, it's a very good point. I mean, me and Serge were talking about this yesterday, how they have a negative point differential. Somehow, obviously, and having a record of 9-2 is very rare. But I think you guys touch on it fantastically. The game is going to be decided by Sauce and Justin Jefferson. Whoever gets the better of that matchup, I think, wins their team the game. And I think both players have obviously shown, especially Justin Jefferson has shown the ability to win games. That's what great receivers do. That's why arguably he's the best receiver in the NFL right now. And Sauce Gardner has showed why he's the front runner. And I would say, very much and very ahead of anyone else, the front runner for this Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And I think he has a shoe-in for Defensive Player of the Year. So I think it's, a very tough matchup. This is going to be one to watch. And that being said, I think we say that, and I don't think it's going to be one's going to get the better of the other. I think it'll be a Justin Jefferson 70-yard game, 80-yard game, maybe a touchdown and some zone coverage. But again, maybe it's Justin Jefferson goes off and Sauce finally has that welcome to the NFL moment, or welcome to the NFL game. So I guess we'll see. But I do think Sauce is protected very much by that jet zone defense because, it's very hard to kind of mark his man-on-man coverages. But that being said, I'm going to go as well. I'm going to go Vikings here. I think you just look at, it's just as simple. You look at kind of talent-wise, you look at both sides of the ball. But I think the Jets could go win it. Maybe Mike White has his Bengals game like he did last year and goes out and beats Minnesota. So we'll see. But I'm locking in the Vikings for this one. And we'll move on to the next game. We have a bit of a more boring one. That being said, two teams who showed a lot in week 12. Obviously, the Lions getting so close to beating the Bills and getting that 4-game win streak, unfortunately, was broken. And the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence leading a fantastic game-winning drive against Baltimore and Jacksonville to win them the game. Serge, I'll go to you first. What do you think?
Yeah, these are two teams that have been very promising. I just think right now the Jaguars are so unlucky to be 4-7. They've been a team that have been consistently able to move the ball. They've played good complementary football. They have a positive win point differential. Sorry,
right.
And yet they're 4-7. Tough game. Two teams kind of hot. I think the Lions though have been able to move the ball so well, and I'm just so confident in them. I think the Bills game was just a bit unlucky. I think they were unlucky to not win that game, and I think they will against the Jaguars because they are at home. But close one there.
I think the Lions get the edge on this one.
Okay.
Because I think their run game is going to run Jacksonville into the ground. And Dan Campbell's going to be able to manage the clock to which he wants because that's the type of offense they run. They are going to be able to do what they want with a mediocre defense for the majority of the game, and it's just going to be down to whether or not they can get those red zone scores. And recently they've been doing that. Jamal Williams leads the league in rushing touchdowns. Jared Goff has been fantastic in the red zone this year. May we see a first Jameson Williams game this week? I don't know. But all those factors, especially if Jameson Williams comes in, will lead to the Lions winning, because I think they've just figured it out. And it took them a while. It took everything a really long time to tune out.
I think the offense, it took quicker, but like the defense took a while, but now they're starting to figure it out. Which is
and
important.
it took, everyone was wondering if Dan Campbell was the right man to lead this ship, and the Church of Football lives. Give me the Lions.
The Church of Football lives. That's a fantastic way to say it. And I think, especially when you look at this Lions team, I was always a guy, I was like, yeah, I mean, Dan Campbell, he looks great. He presents himself fantastic, motivational speaker, motivates his guys, but really, I never thought of him as a great coach. I have interpreted that very badly. I think I still stick with that he's a great speaker, but I think what he says to his team has the biggest impact than any other coach. And again, that's a little bit biased just because there's more media coverage on him actually speaking to his team. But I mean, you look at them in that 3-game win streak. They looked fantastic. And that being said, I mean, you talk about the defense, you have young guys stepping up. Alim McNeil looked fantastic. Kirby Joseph has been absolutely amazing. He's been the best rookie safety.
Fantastic.
He's been amazing. I think a guy who's been completely overlooked. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson hasn't been as loud, but this edge class has not been very loud. But you obviously saw him get that 3-sack game. I believe this was against Washington. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure.
A while ago.
Yeah, a while ago. But we haven't seen him as much. But I think it's a defense that, and that's what it shows about that defense. You have guys who you didn't expect to stepping up, and that's what makes great teams. And yeah, Jared Goff. I mean, Dylan, I don't know about you guys. I've always been a guy who says give Jared Goff another year. I mean, there's no reason to kind of replace him, and he's been efficient. Hopefully, we see Jameson Williams play, because that guy was electric in college. I'd love to see kind of what he brings to the NFL. That being said, I think we've both spoken so highly on the Lions. I'm going to go Lions. I think we'll sweep the Lions in this one as we move on to the next game, where we have the Tennessee Titans, who fell at home to Cincinnati, playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who are currently playing the Packers. As you guys know, we record these every Sunday night. This is to me a simple pick of the Eagles, but I'll let you guys kind of explain what you think on this one. But to me, this seems like a easy Eagles win.
I think I kind of think so, but then again, the Titans just always find a way to weirdly be good every year. But I think the Eagles are just such a much more complete team. Although I think if the Titans defensive line can win the matchup against one of the best offensive lines in football with Philadelphia, they can win this game. I just don't think it'll happen. I think the Eagles are just so well-rounded, good weapons, good offensive line, good quarterback, good defense. I think they just are a more talented team, more complete team than the Tennessee Titans. I think they'll win this one.
So I was going into this one, I think 2 weeks ago, I had this game circled as the game the Eagles lose. And then they go and they lose to the Commanders.
Yep.
And what they did after that was probably the best thing that Howie Roseman has done as a general manager. And I mean that because I think that showed that he is not scared to make adjustments to a winning team. He brought in 3 veteran defensive tackles to pretty much take away their only problem they have as a football team. They brought They brought in Robert Quinn, Linval Joseph, and Ndamukong Suh for virtually nothing. And
Quinn maybe some.
But overall, pretty much.
I mean, you look at the Eagles draft capital.
Taking stars off of taking stars for sale for nothing, and going ahead and pretty much shutting down Jonathan Taylor the next game. And I said Derrick Henry is going to be the reason the Eagles lose this game. I can't say that anymore because I think the Eagles fixed their problem. Jordan Davis might be back for that game. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I'm going Eagles. They are the most well-rounded team in the NFL. And I've been very critical of Howie Roseman. I've been very critical of Nick Sirianni at times, but they have done their job. And I think the Eagles are going forward to be the uncontested 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, that's put fantastically, I think. I mean, the Howie Roseman thing, this offseason, he has done wonders to this Eagles organization. You look at the transformation of this team, and especially that belief, and it was all built around Will Hurts flip the leaf and become the quarterback that he has become. And I think the Eagles are just, playing at such a high level. The AJ Brown deal, fantastic. Jordan Davis obviously has been out, but we know the physical presence he brings. And I mean, that defensive line is so deep now that, they look like they're in for a deep playoff run. I think they've committed to that. And I think, Dylan, like you said, this Eagles team is far and beyond the best team in the NFC right now. Which isn't as much of a, accomplishment
I
considering
think there are
how,
some solid teams.
yeah,
Though,
there's
so
some, but there. So I guess we'll see that, but sweep of the Eagles as we'll move on now to a fantastic storyline as Deshaun Watson returns for the Cleveland Browns. He has served his 11-game suspension, and he will return on Sunday to face his old team, who he hadn't played with. I believe the last time he played was in Houston, January 3rd, 2021. Yeah. It has been nearly 700 days, or I believe a little bit more than 700 days since Deshaun Watson has played in the National Football League. And not only that, he will return to face his former team. What a storyline we've been following all offseason. Dylan, I go to you first. What is your prediction for this one?
I'm going to put my prediction to the side for a second and just ask, doesn't an 11-game suspension, 11 games, sound a little bit suspicious, like fabricated and suspicious to get him to play against his former team? Is that just me?
That's a good. I actually never even thought.
That's what I'm thinking. That's
11 games. Who gets suspended for 11 games? I've heard 8 games. I've heard 10 games. I've heard 12 games.
Yeah,
I've never heard 11. So putting that to the side, I've heard a full season NFL, but I'm going to go Browns here because they're just clearly the better team. Watson or no Watson, I don't know how good this guy's going to be, but I think they're going to figure out how to beat the worst team in football, whether or not Watson looks like he's been playing football for the past 3 years, because they have the best rushing attack in football. They have a solid to above average defense. Give me the Browns.
This is going to be my upset pick. I'm actually going to go with the Texans.
Because I think the Texans.
And this is going to be an emotion.
You know why? Camus Grugier Hill.
Yep.
Bro, what a guy. But I think this is going to be an emotional game. And I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to look good his first game back. I think he's going to be completely rusty. I think the Texans.
Like his lawyer.
Oh my God. But I think, back to the football. But I would say, I think the Texans, I think Dameon Pierce is going to have a good game. Like I said, I just do not have any faith in that Browns defense. I just think this is going to be such a Browns loss, and it's a crazy upset pick. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling that somehow the Texans, invigorated by this could be an emotional game, a weird game for them. It doesn't feel real that he's coming back to the NFL. It's been too long, but that's my upset pick. But we'll see. A lot must-watch game, even though it's between two pretty mediocre teams.
Yeah, I mean, do people honestly expect Deshaun Watson to come back firing? Like, I don't think
people do.
Some people do.
But that being said, maybe he does. Maybe he does. But that being said, you can practice. There's nothing like playing in an actual game. So I guess we'll see. But I think it's a favorable matchup for him against a Texans defense that's very poor, a defense that I guess he knows the best out of any of the other in the NFL. So I think there's some advantages there, but I'm going to go Browns here. I think Deshaun Watson definitely is a huge factor. That being said, Jacoby Brissett just beat Tom Brady. So the NFL's weird this year. I don't know how many times I've said that. You guys know I've said that very often.
At this point, I feel like the NFL's weird every year, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I feel this year's weird. This year's
every year it gets weirder.
Basically. Yeah, it was weirdly odd, but I wouldn't be surprised the Texans go and win it. That being said, their quarterback situation is putrid. The Davis Mills boat of hope seems to be sailing into the
Bryce Young
into the darkness. But I'm gonna go Browns here. I think that's just based on talent. But we'll move on to the next one, which we can go over a little bit quickly as I guess it's.
These are two. This is good. This is a big game for the.
It is a big game
in terms of playoff implications. Both the Commanders are,
as I'll announce it. The Washington Commanders play the New York Giants, and it's Heineke. Man, he's been the one quarterback who is that wonder guy, like the Mike Whites and the guys like that who go in for that one game, play great, but he's been pretty consistent. Obviously, being named starter over Carson Wentz. But we'll let Dylan speak first. Dylan, what is your pick for Commanders Giants?
I had the privilege of being able to watch the entirety of that Giants mess on Thursday night.
A mess that looked great at the beginning and then quickly.
But it was
turned.
a mess that I never thought was going to be able to go through and win that game.
Yeah.
And the Commanders have won 6 of 7. Taylor Heineke is winning himself a job. The players are playing for him. The defense is great. It looks like that NFC East winning team at that end of the season. And I can't see a way that they lose this game. The Giants, I love Brian Dable. I think Daniel Jones is being massively screwed in terms of a contract year. I think he's playing great football, and I think the rest of the team is putting him underground. And it's going to end
Dylan
up.
Would say that.
No, I don't mind Daniel Jones. I think.
They're
just,
you were never. I don't think Dylan was ever a Daniel Jones hater.
I was never a Daniel Jones.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, he was just always terrible. So
not even terrible. Just like in a.
I just think the situation is not on his side, and I don't see a way that he goes and wins this game. I don't see the Giants winning many more games this season, and this isn't one of them. Give me Washington.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, the Giants. I mean, with all the injuries and just already not being very talented on paper, this game is like kind of. It looks like a Commanders win.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm going to pick the Commanders because I think here's a very important factor. Chase Young is coming back.
I don't think
he's coming back. I think he's coming back, and they've taken their time to get him back to speed. They haven't like rushed him back. So eventually when he comes back, which I think is a very good chance it's this week, I think it could be a game where he immediately breaks onto the scene. And I think there's a good chance he's very quiet, but it's a very interesting game, and it's two teams that right now seem to be going in opposite directions. I'm going to say Commanders, not confident because I think that the Giants could easily like show why they've been such a good team this year and outperform their expectations by so much. I'm going to go Commanders though, just based on right now how they've been playing recently.
I think based on trends, I have to go Commanders. As you guys know, if you've been watching, I'm a big Giants fan, but I think it's one of those things where the Giants are starting to fall into the classic Giants, kind of play. And I think to me, it's very disappointing because I think we look great. And that being said, I think we could beat the Commanders. I think the difference this year is we have Brian Dable, who is fantastic at scheming up games. And I think we definitely could go and beat a Washington team, which we generally have been very good against. So I do think it's a bit up in the air, but Washington are red hot. Taylor Heineke is fantastic. They're just a team who's been able to score in a defense that bringing Chase Young back has a very, very, very formidable defensive line. So I'm going to go Commanders here, but that being said, I think the Giants go win it. I don't think it's a lock. So I'm going to go for the Giants in this one as we move on now to the Broncos against the Ravens, teams who both lost. And man, oh man, did we not expect what came out for, I mean, just that division is just
it's so
polar opposite of what we thought.
Yeah.
The Broncos are horrible.
They're
the Broncos
horrible.
are
Did you see that Russell Wilson?
Hear me out now. Hear me out now. I think the Broncos are going to win this game. I think the Broncos are going to go and they're going to defensively stop the missing offense of Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is going to do nothing because he has nothing helping him. He's going to try to win the game on his legs, and he's not going to be able to do it. Russell Wilson in the offense will put up 15 or less points, and they'll get the job done. Give me the Denver Broncos here. I think they're terrible, but I think the Ravens are a mess that needs to be figured out sooner rather than later. I think Roman's job's on the line. I think Harbaugh's job's on the line. I think Lamar needs to figure out his shit or else he's not going to get paid. And this is going to be a wake-up game. Give me the Broncos.
I think I agree with you. I actually agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think the Ravens offense is going to get shut down as well because they look hopeless. Even Lamar, they just don't look good at all. But here's the thing. The Broncos cannot put up 20 to save their lives. Like, what was it? I think they would be like, 8-2 if they could put up like, maybe more than like 17 points. Their offense has been putrid. And this Ravens defense, it's solid. They've got like arguably an all-pro corner in Marlon Humphrey. And I think they're going to be the latest team to shut down this anemic Denver offense, which is just looking terrible. The players don't seem to like Russ at this point. If you saw, I think it was Purcell with the interaction, he was yelling at Russell Wilson. They can't do anything, and it's really wasting a great Denver Broncos defense. But I think the Ravens are not going to do much. It's going to be pretty messy, bad game to watch, but I think the Ravens will barely squeak it out.
The Broncos suck, and
They're
to
terrible.
me, it's just so polarizing to see how much worse. Like Russ made them worse somehow.
I know.
Like
And we
Russ
thought Drew
actually
Lock
took
was
a
like the
Drew
problem.
Lock led team and made them worse somehow, and they added people besides Russ. It is to me mind blowing. That being said, the Ravens, yeah, I mean, I think it's Lamar Jackson, so it's volatile. You know, he could go out and be fantastic, and they add Roquan Smith. That's a good linebacking core. I mean, the Ravens, if the Ravens go win this game, the Broncos are 3-9. I say ship off Russell Wilson at the end of the year. I mean, it's like
you paid too much to do that.
But
It's the right move, but you can't jump the
no
ship
one's
that
gonna
quickly.
no one's gonna take him. Like who's gonna
You
pay
fire Hackett
250?
before you let go of Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I think you fire, and it just sucks because Hackett was so good in Green Bay.
I think
So
he just rode
yeah,
LaFleur's coattails. I think that was one of the issues.
I Serge, I think that's, now that you say that, I think that's obviously that's shown that that's true because he's not been competent. I'm gonna go Ravens as well here. Again, this is a crapshoot, but we'll move on to and it's so funny, it's just that's what I'm talking about when the NFL is so weird. Like Ravens, we just talked highly about the Commanders and Giants, and then we talked about the Ravens and Broncos and as such
terrible
matchup
matchup.
team. So it's crazy to see. But we'll move on to the next one, Dylan, as we have your red hot Miami Dolphins facing off against the San Francisco 49ers, who, per usual with Jimmy G, are an underrated team. Dylan, I did this with Surge, so we'll go to you first, Surge, before we go to the fan. What is your prediction for this game?
Two red hot teams. Dolphins on a 5-game win streak, Niners on a 4-game winning streak. The Niners just came off came off shutting out the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins, albeit not great competition, but they look like the hottest offense in the NFL. So this is a clash of titans, two really good teams. And honestly, it's a crapshoot. I think this could go really either way. These teams are just so even, in my opinion. I'm gonna go Dolphins. Sadly, I don't want to win, but I just think that Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle's been consistently impossible to stop. Tua has done a good job of kind of anticipating where to throw where and when to throw the ball. He's been pretty accurate throwing to them. Even if they have that vertical threat, even if it's not obviously the most threatening quarterback in that aspect, but they have looked really, really good. Tua's looked like he's been a top 2 quarterback this year, and I think that's going to kind of be the difference. Although it's crazy, but
he has.
Yes. On paper he has. But I would say close, so close. I think this could go either way, but I would say Miami barely.
I'm gonna say, and I can't believe
this is
in the California breeze. This is in the home of the 49ers at Levi's Stadium or whatever they call it now. I don't know. It used to be the Santa Clara. I don't know. The San Francisco 49ers are going to go into their stadium with a crowd full of 49ers fans, and those fans are going to go home crying. The Miami Dolphins are going to win this game by 3 or more scores. I think that Mike McDaniel knows everything he needs to know about this 49ers team. He knows everything he needs to know about the defense and the offense, and he's going to play this game like a fiddle. He is the smartest offensive schemer in the NFL. He's going to prove it. He's going to prove that it wasn't Shanahan, it was him. He's going to prove that it wasn't Debo, it was him. Not Jimmy G, it was him. And they're going to go out there and they're going to beat the living crap out of the San Francisco 49ers. And that's no disrespect to the 49ers. I think they are probably the second or third best team in the NFC. But I just think that Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, and a rising defense, I guess, are going to be able to get the job done by a significant margin. Bring me the 9-3 Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I think Dolphins win this one handedly as well. We'll move on to the next one. Divisional matchup, Seahawks, Rams. Serge, we'll go to you first. What is your pick?
Stafford could be out for the rest of the season. I don't think he's playing this game. So it's either going to be Wolford or Bryce Perkins. And the Seahawks coming off a very tough loss against a pretty bad Vegas team, but they're still a better team on paper than the Rams, who just look completely lost. And they don't even have anything to tank for. They already traded that pick to the Lions, but the Lions will be happier after this game because I think the Seahawks are going to easily win this, even in LA, which is basically another home game for them.
Seahawks are on the table. They're going to just be able to get the job done. The Rams do not look good, and I kind of saw it coming. I think me and Surge actually had a hot takes video that we never ended up publishing, that we both said the Rams aren't going to make the playoffs.
And that was on there like three or four, something like that. But they were
I just don't see it in them. Seahawks, although they have not won in their last 2 games, they're going to get the job done here. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, I said it great. I think Seahawks run the table here. I think for me, it's very good. This is what I'm talking about the NFL. Like the Rams just won the Super Bowl, and it's just so it hurts my head. This would be an easy Rams win preseason, but the Seahawks have shown otherwise. I'm going to go Seahawks as well. And now we move on to, oh man, the Chargers playing the Raiders, 2 teams obviously who have been just so disappointing.
Oh, the Chargers won. The Chargers somehow won.
The Chargers are 6-5. The 13-4 Chargers are 6-5. Congratulations.
I'm going to use I'm not sure if either of you heard this. I used this last year. These 2 teams are like when your dad says you're going to go on a vacation and you think you're going to go to the beach or go on some nice excursion and you go to like a national park. Like this is what these teams are like.
That's facts.
Surge, what is your prediction for this game?
This is my upset pick. I'm going to go Raiders. I mean, I think I've had a
That's
few.
Not even an upset. But it's not even an upset.
Here's the thing. Josh Jacobs is him. 303 yards. I think that's the most by running back this year. 303 total yards. Unbelievable. And the Chargers I'm not very convinced by that defense. I think he's going to run all over them. Herbert, he hasn't been bad. I think he's been pretty solid, but he just has no weapons to throw to. And it's just obviously with a bad OC, bad defense.
Let's make excuses for Herbert.
Yeah. It's been a tough year tough year for Herbert. But
it's all because of the other Raiders. Players on his team, not him at all.
Yeah. All right, you go, Dylan.
So I'm gonna go Raiders as well, and I'm a certified Chargers hater. I have been and will be.
Yeah,
but I'm not even just saying this out of the spite in my heart. I'm saying this with confidence that the Chargers are not that team, and the Raiders, they've lost games, but Josh Jacobs has proven to be a top 3 offensive player this year almost. Like, as crazy as that sounds.
Been great.
And the Chargers, they've got the ability on their team. And I hate when people say that they have nothing, because Justin Herbert is something. They have stars. They have Derwin James. He's not nothing. They have Austin Eckler. He's not nothing.
That has to be coaching, though. Coaching has been
coaching is important, but I'm not going to say that Brandon Staley is a worse coach than Josh McDaniels. But either way, this game comes down to which side is capable of managing the game better. And as we have heard from Emmanuel Acho, Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback. He's not going to get the job done. Derek Carr is that guy. Give me the Raiders.
Give me the Chargers in this one. I think the Chargers go and win it. Again, this game is very uninteresting to me, as it would have been very interesting preseason. But we have actually a very good matchup, and that is the rematch of the AFC Championship, which we went live for last year. That was a very, very fun live stream. Very good matchup. The Bengals obviously getting back on track, 7-4 with their win against the Titans. The Chiefs obviously playing like they can. Kelsey looks unstoppable. Dylan Shallon, we go to you first. What is your take on this game?
I'm just going to out and say it. The Chiefs sucked today. They were terrible. They went out and they won that game, but they did not play a good game of football. And maybe that could be Aaron Donald's disruptiveness, but I don't think they looked like an AFC winning team today. And after watching enough of that game and seeing that the Bengals got the job done against the Titans, maybe this is an impulsive pick, but I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think Jamar Chase will be back next week, and they've been able to win games without him. So I think, and probably Mixon back as well. So give me the Bengals.
Nah, I'm going to go Chiefs, because here's the reason why. They have the best quarterback in the league, the MVP, Patrick Mahomes.
Second.
Oh my God. No, Tua is mid. Just stop talking.
Bro, what if Tua actually wins MVP? Like, I'll kill myself.
Yeah, bro. It's like the meme. He about to kill himself.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, yeah, I think Kansas City, they played not so well, but they've got the best quarterback in the league. And I think that's just going to be the difference because Mahomes, Mahomes is kind of putting his team on his back. Like they have
Absolutely. Him
When
and
doesn't
Him
he?
and
Yeah,
Kelsey.
Kelsey's been amazing.
yeah, but it's been a mid defense, not great weapons besides Kelsey, and Juju's been good. But this is mainly Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey working wonders. And I think honestly, when you have that great of a trio, it works. It works. So I think I'm gonna go with Kansas City here.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go Kansas City as well, but I think this could be fireworks. So it's a close one for me. I think the only thing that would separate it is obviously, as you said, the quarterback play. And I think Mahomes just will go out and win. I think the Bengals won't have an answer for Travis Kelsey as they did in that AFC championship game last year. So I'm going to go for Kansas City here. But I'm not confident. I think the Bengals, I like Dylan said, I think the Bengals definitely can go and make this a game. I think this will arguably be the best game of the slate on week 13. But we'll move on now to the Sunday night matchup. And man, the Colts to me are just so boring as the Colts play the Cowboys. Yeah. I think the Cowboys are going to annihilate the Colts.
I don't think anyone annihilates the Colts. I think the Colts have too good of a defense to get annihilated. I think the Cowboys win.
I think they get annihilated.
Yeah.
But I think the Colts are a pretty good team. And they're boring. They're annoying. They're like terrible to watch. I think Frank Reich being fired, I think was the right move.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday. What a elite coach. Elite.
His somehow is just mad funny.
I just don't see them being able to overcome how good the Cowboys are, but I don't think they're a bad team by any measure. And if they were potentially going to sneak into that 7 seed, it wouldn't be out of the question to me, but probably not. Give me the Cowboys regardless.
Yeah.
Serge, we could do a 3-2-1 on this one. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually the Colts have been okay the past few weeks, but here's the thing.
I just find them
the Cowboys have the best scoring defense in the NFL, at least as of last week. And they have an offense that has become one of the best offenses in the league with Dak Prescott. So I think they should. I don't know if it's handily necessarily, but they'll beat the Colts.
What they said. I got the Cowboys in this one. And I'll move on to the last game of the week, Monday Night Football. Saints Bucks.
Come on.
Of all there are a lot of good games this week, and you put these.
Why can't they flex better goddamn
time.
Games?
We want to see Tom Brady and Andy Dalton on prime time. Just get it over with, Bucks.
The senior home.
Just because Saints didn't even score. At least the Bucks got 17.
I don't care. Saints always beat the Bucks. Brady sucks now.
Nah, not this year because they're so ass because they have Dennis Allen as their head coach.
Dennis Allen's actually kind of underrated. Not gonna lie.
He's terrible.
He's not showing. They've won 4 games with no talent.
What do you mean? They've got Olave. They've got Jarvis.
They've got Olave. They have fucking Andy Dalton at quarterback. I'm sorry.
Andy Dalton's better than Jameis Winston, and he's.
Is he? No, he's not. But
yes,
you know what?
Is.
They've gotten it done anyway. Brady.
No, they haven't. They've got 4 wins. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
What are you talking about? Dennis Allen is terrible. Every Saints fan really wants his head on a pike.
Holy fuck.
No. All right. Petty argument aside about Dennis Allen, I'm gonna go Saints here just because I don't think the Bucks are good. I think
how can you win if you can't score? They got shut out.
You know who they got shut out by?
A good team, but they still got shut out.
You know who
Zach Wilson Wilson didn't get shut out.
You know who they're playing against? A not good team. They just lost to the Brissett-led Browns, who are 3-7, now 4-7, going into the most
4-7. Respect them.
The most turmoil they'll ever go into, and they've gone 0-17. Now they're having. This is a Browns thing now I'm going into. They are having a sex offender go in at quarterback.
Jeez, all right.
And they were able to go and win.
This has just been completely like it's so a useless game.
This is turned on absolute.
You want to restart this?
No, that's fine. It's just this is just turned a violent corner.
Funny.
But let me get my pick. I've been much more censored. I don't think it's that serious. I don't know why you both.
They're both ass. I love how we just react whenever we hear and time for the Monday night game. Oh, there've been so many great games. Can't wait to see what's on. It's like Saints Bucks. I'm like, God damn it.
I don't even
Shit,
know.
man.
I'm gonna go Bucks here, but I think they both look.
And the sad thing is, one of these teams can potentially win the division.
Yeah, and the Bucks currently are, which is crazy.
Falcons up.
I think if the Saints win, they somehow go into. Oh no, they don't go into first place, but they're very close to going into first place.
All right, I feel like I didn't justify my argument enough. I was kind of just yelling.
I'm gonna go Bucks just so I can get it out.
Yeah.
Nah, the yelling is the funniest thing. That's
No. But I actually want to justify my argument though. The Saints
Who
have
cares?
the Bucks.
The
Number.
Saints Bucks. Yeah, they don't have their number this year. Tom Brady played so bad against the Saints that they still couldn't win because they have no offense.
They had Jameis that game. Now they got the red rifle.
Oh yeah, the red rifle, Andy Dalton.
I forgot.
What a different. No, the same Andy Dalton that got shut out.
That was Alvin
Andy Dalton?
Kamara's fault. He fumbled twice.
Oh yeah, Alvin Kamara's fault. I mean, it probably
Bro,
was, but
bro,
like Andy
tell
Dalton
me
is
one player
ass.
on the Bucks that can guard Rashid Shaheed. I swear.
You know, Jamal Dean has been a top 10
Rashid Shaheed
PFF
should be-
corner this
Rashid
year.
Shaheed seems like he should be a left winger on Iran.
Oh my!
That's not a bad thing. I mean,
It's like
dude, what a turn this meaningless game.
I'm gonna end it here, but
Yeah, let's cut
see,
some
that
of
was
that
actually
out.
very good. We spoke great. I thought that was one of our best prediction videos. We were all very professional, and then
just the
this,
Saints Bucks were just like,
yeah,
why put
but,
this shitty wank
yeah.
game on TV?
But that's where
National
that's where
TV.
we leave it. Kia McDermott, Serge Charlie. I was about to say Charlie, and I know Charlie is violently sick. And Dylan Chow. Charlie will be back soon. But thank you all
This
The
so
is
way
the
to
same
leave the
violently
audience
like-
guessing.
Thank you so much for watching.
AIDS.
Week 13 predictions. More videos to come out. We'll get some more mock drafts. Make sure you guys comment any teams you want us to do, specific team mock drafts. We'll make sure to get out to you guys. Big board will come out soon. All that kind of stuff. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, Keen McDermott, Serge Crowley, Charlie. Oh my God, Dylan Shalom. I'm so used to going in that order. Dylan Shalom. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.